You ever finish a scoring exercise, whether it's a quiz, a benchmark, or a diagnostic, and think, okay, now what? A number is helpful, sure, but a number without meaning, without context, without direction, that's just noise. And in business, noise becomes confusion. Confusion becomes hesitation, and hesitation stalls momentum. So today, we're talking about your data integrity score, the one that you built in episode 5, and turning it into an actual roadmap. Welcome back to Tech Talks with Grace, the show where we break down the systems, data, and decisions behind modern, scalable operations. In the last episode, you learned how to score your business across the 5 categories of data integrity: consistency, accuracy, completeness, connectivity, and stewardship. And now you have a number, or at least a sense of one. But what does that score mean to you? What does it actually tell you about where you're strong, where you're vulnerable, and where automation could break things? Today's episode is called Understanding Your Score and What It Means for Your Business. So by the end of this episode, you'll know how your score reflects your operational readiness, what different score ranges really indicate, how to spot patterns in your data integrity profile, and exactly how to interpret the lowest category in your score because that one matters the most. Let's dive right in. And here's the most important thing that I really want you to know here. Your score is not a judgment. It's a map. It tells you where you actually are, what's working, what's fragile, and where to focus next. So your score isn't about perfection. It's about visibility. The kind of visibility most businesses don't have until something breaks. Scores give direction, not shame. A common mistake that I think business owners make here is assuming that a low score means they're behind. But in reality, a low score often means you've been moving fast, you've been growing, and that you haven't paused to maintain the foundation. And that's normal. A high score doesn't mean that you've figured everything out, and a low score doesn't mean that your business is broken. It simply means and tells you what needs attention first. So here's an analogy, or the analogy that I really love. Think of your data integrity score like a health check. If your doctor says your vitamin D is low, you don't panic. You don't assume you're failing at life. You just say, okay, cool, let's fix that. This score works the same way. It shows where your operational vitamins are lacking. So now you really might be asking yourself, what does it mean? What do the ranges mean? I don't quite understand what we're talking about here. So let's walk through what your score actually tells you. For this segment, imagine your total score is out of 25. So if your score is between 5 and 10, foundations first. What does that mean? That means your workflows are inconsistent. Your data is unpredictable. Automation would be risky. Tools might be misaligned here. And ownership is unclear. You are not behind. You are simply pre-automation. So what is this telling you? It's just telling you that you need to build on your foundations in order to move forward. And in order to build on those foundations, what should you focus on? You should focus on very specific things, and that is standardizing your processes. Remember, we were talking about clean data, clean SOPs, standard operating procedures, all of that. Well, those are things that you need to focus on in order to be automated. Right now, you are pre-automation. If you're between score of 5 and 10 out of 25, foundations first. So standardize your process, clean your core data, Reduce variation. When I say reduce variation, I'm talking about nomenclature, I'm talking about fields, I'm talking about the way everyone refers to your data nomenclature, your naming conventions, everything. Reduce the variations with drop downs or other types of tools of that nature. And lastly, you should focus on aligning your tools. It happens very often, and more often than you probably realize. Most firms out there don't have tools that speak to each other, or if they do, they don't do it consistently. So what you're doing here is you're laying down your foundation, right? You have to have a foundation to build a home, as an example. You need the foundation before you can build anything else on top of that. So you're laying down the rails before you run the train here. This is where most early stage or rapidly growing teams land. This is where you usually start, and it's because you've grown so fast that your fields, your data, your information has not kept up. So again, you're not broken here if you're landing in the foundation's first section, okay? And that is a score of 5 to 10. You are just laying that groundwork that you need before you can move on to the next step. What if your score is between 11 and 17? You might say to yourself, well, I have most of it together, I think. I think a lot of it looks good, and my reports sort of tell me what I need to know. Well, a score of between 11 and 17 just means you're ready to optimize. This is actually the most common range. What does it mean to you? It means some parts of your business are running consistently. Some of your data is clean, some isn't. Your tools work until it breaks. We're all in that kind of break fix moment when you're in that ready to optimize area of the score. Your tools work, again, same thing, until they don't. And that means you're at the almost ready stage for automation. What's the good news here? Well, you're actually in the sweet spot for improving things, right? To make things better. This is not pre-automation. You're not ready completely for automation, but you are so close that you can almost taste it, right? So this spot is the perfect location to improve your workflows, fix those key integrations that if they're broken or don't work perfectly every time, it will cause chaos later down the road or right now even. It's a great spot to add clarity and documentation, those SOPs I keep referring to, and automating those low risk tasks, right? That not a person or an attorney or CEO has to necessarily touch every single time. You can automate this portion of your task. So again, a good spot. You're in a great spot to automate those low risk tasks, improve your workflows, fix those key integrations, and add clarity by adding documentation. So in this kind of spot that you're in, this 11 to 17 ready to optimize area or your score, your business can feel efficient one day and chaotic the next. It's that sort of up and down. I'm depressed one day because everything, it looks like it broke. And then the next day, everything looks so amazing. My reports are telling me I'm getting thousands of new claimants per month or onboarding new clients every week. All appears great. And then the next day, it looks like it's a mess. That inconsistency comes from the middle range scores. It's where it seems most of us feel we're close to being somewhere, but we don't know how to get there. So again, it's a great spot to be in to actually improve workflows, fix those key integrations, add your clarity and documentation, automate those low risk tasks. Well, you might be asking yourself, I'm not in the first or second bucket. What does it mean if I'm in the higher score ranges, 18 to 22? First, let's say congratulations on that, because what that means for you is that you have very good information and you're almost ready to be 100% and you've got a lot of things going, but there could be some room for improvement, right? Because there's just always continuing improvement processes that should always be implemented. And as we spoke about before, data is not a one and done thing. So while you might have a good score of quote unquote good score, 18 to 22, meaning you are operationally strong, at this point, you're saying to yourself, data is mostly clean. My workflows are pretty predictable. My ownership is defined across the board. I know who's responsible for what data, and my integrations are reliable. My automation's super safe to scale here, or safer anyway, right? So, where do my gaps come from if I'm operationally strong and I'm almost 25 points out of 25 points? Well, they usually are in this range when you're operationally strong. Your gaps will come from missing documentation. You might have a few messy fields here and there, a couple of fragile workflows that may break depending on the wrong information or different things that could happen, and potentially a lack of auditing or maintenance of your data. So at this point, though, you're again operationally strong. So are you ready for automation? You're not just ready for automation, you're ready for smarter, more advanced automation. Again, because your operations are foundationally strong and things are just slightly needing some tweaks. Now, this takes us to the next step or the next score. What if I have a 23 out of 25? I think all of my stuff is working the way it's supposed to. I looked at your data scores, Grace, and I am right on par. Everything is aligned. Everything is working. What does this mean for me? What do we call that? Well, if your score is 23 to 25, you are in the automation ready excellence zone. And what does that mean for you? Well, few businesses get here, and when they do, it is intentional. It's something that you specifically chose to get to this point. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to get to this point. And it means your systems are aligned, your workflows are predictable, your data fields are consistent, you have maintenance routines. Not only do they exist, you follow them. You have eliminated that manual chaos that I keep talking about that most of the other scores that people will have or that businesses will have. Again, not for shame. This is only for understanding where you are and where you need to go next. So this is the range where AI performs well, advanced automation thrives, reporting is reliable, and scaling becomes strategic, not chaotic. Again, this is really the ecosystem that most business owners dream about, and it's absolutely achievable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When I review client scores, I don't care as much about the total score. I care about the lowest category. Because your lowest category is your bottleneck. It's the place where automation will break, data will get corrupted, workflows will fall apart, teams will feel friction, and reporting will be unreliable. So let's break down what each low category means. If consistency is your lowest score, you need standardization, and different people are doing steps different ways. What's the symptom here? Things work on Monday, but not on Friday. If accuracy is your lowest score, your data cannot be trusted. There are errors, typos, and outdated entries. A symptom? Reports don't match reality. If completeness is your lowest score, you're missing critical information, and workflows start before they should. A symptom here, you keep asking clients for missing details. If connectivity is your lowest score, your tools don't talk and your integrations misfire. A symptom here, double entry or broken automations. If stewardship is your lowest score, no one is maintaining your data and good data becomes bad data over time. A symptom here, you fix things until they break again. Your lowest category is your operational truth. Fixing it first will create the largest, fastest improvement. So here are your actionable takeaways for today. Here is a mini workshop that hopefully you're all taking and using. Here's your clarity building exercise. Step 1, review your lowest category. Pull up your score. Look for the weakest link. That category is where you start. Step 2, Identify one misaligned system. Ask yourself or ask, what tool, workflow, or process is contributing to this weakness? For example, low consistency. You have too many forms, templates, or variations of those forms or templates. A low accuracy score. You have too many free text fields. Low completeness, missing required fields. Low connectivity, you have integration gaps. Low stewardship score, no maintenance schedule. Step 3, choose one improvement, just one. That's one of my favorite things to tell you. Please choose one. Do not confuse yourself. Do not overanalyze. Do not look at all these different things and think I have to do it all right now. Choose one improvement. I'm going to give you some examples. And again, do not do all of these, just choose one improvement. Give you examples here. Add one validation rule. Standardize one naming convention. Make one field required. Fix one integration. Assign one steward. Again, small steps create compounding clarity. So just like chaos can compound, clarity can also compound. Small steps to make one improvement will help you immensely going forward with that clarity that you require. Now, your data integrity score isn't the finish line. It's the starting point. It tells you where your systems are strong, where your workflows need support, and where automation will either scale your business or create chaos. So today, you learned how to interpret your score and understand its meaning. And in the next episode, we're taking action. Episode 7 is called Turning Your Score into Action with the Guided Checklist. This is where we turn clarity into momentum. If this episode helped you see your systems more clearly, share it with someone on your team. Alignment always accelerates progress. I'm Grace, and this is Tech Talks with Grace. I'll see you in episode 7.